Hey y'all, my name's Jen. I'm a health and life coach on a mission to empower women, and this season I call the messy middle. We believe it's never too late to dream your wildest dreams and to build lives freed from the shoulds and have-tos. Here, we talk to ourselves like we do our girlfriends and our sisters and daughters. I will share stories and resources with lots of encouragement and a little bit of tough love to drive you toward action. In this podcast, we talk about everything: career, relationships, motherhood, and health. So grab your sneakers and let's go, because she's wild and freed. Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of She's Wild and Freed. I'm trying to decide if I need to introduce myself every time, but I am Jen. I'm your host. And today we are going to do a freeform episode. So first off, I thought I would just share my process. So how I get ready to do these podcasts, what I do, how I record them, etc. I thought that might be interesting to you all, but also just freeform it. Talk about things on my mind, things that have been going on, things that hopefully resonate with you, maybe going on with you as well. So to start off, I mentioned, of course, I'm going to talk about my process. I am currently recording in my closet. So I'm trying something new because the last few recordings I've noticed it sounds very echoey. So we moved into this house back in September of 23, and it's so open and has really high ceilings, and it's beautiful. Tons of light from the windows, but there is such an echo throughout the house. So even in my office, it sounded echoey. So I'm trying out my closet. We'll see how this sound goes. But typically, how I get ready for this podcast is I just start writing. I really enjoy that part of the process. I have put together a schedule over the last couple of months of what I'd like to talk about each week. So I have that in front of me to get me ready. But sometimes I veer off that schedule because something else comes up and I really want to share with you all. But typically I go through the schedule that I've put out just to help me. I did that back in December, January time. One of those things to help my future self. So I didn't have to think too much about what I wanted to talk about. But again, sometimes things pop up. Like this week, I had something planned out and I decided I just wanted to talk to you all, just like we're sitting together having coffee or going for a walk. So I sit down and write when I start the process to get ready for a new episode. I've got tons and tons of content now because I write my whole script out, go back, reread it, edit it, speak it out loud to see if it even sounds good as a spoken word, because sometimes things that are written don't actually make sense once you start saying them out loud. And then I sit down and record. As you see me now, you can see my microphone here, the headphones. I'm not even sure if I even need these to record, but it looks cool. So I have them on. And, the episodes are between 13 to 29 minutes or so. Just depends on what the topic is and how much I wrote within the week. And then after recording, it's editing time. So you've already probably noticed I have messed up or fumbled on my words a little bit. So that does happen. And I will get into editing software to cut out some of those fumbles, some of the noises I might be making with my lips, or saying a lot of times. So just trying to clean it up a little bit for you guys. And then once it's ready to go, I have to piece together the intro music, the verbiage or the episode that I have ready to go. And then sometimes I'm inserting other messages I might want to share with you, like last week. Last week, I told you all about a promotion I'm running for you, my podcast listeners, to get not only the opening discovery call, if you want to check out or see what working with me as your health coach would be like, but then also if you sign up for the 12-week program or the 90-day total transformation program, you can get that first official session also free. So just mentioning that here again, but those are some of the things that I'll pepper into the episode to just break it up or, of course, inform you about what's going on. So don't miss out. This promotion only runs through the end of March. We're right here at the end of February if you're listening in real time. And I would love to sit down with you. We can do it on the phone. We can do it over Google Meet. We can do it FaceTime. However, you would be comfortable to do a discovery call with me and see if we can talk about your goals and get you closer to them and maybe even work together for the next 90 days. So that's my process in getting ready for a podcast. Again, I post these weekly on Wednesday. I try to get them out by 5 a.m. for any of you early risers. I think I'm seeing, at least when I see the trends, a lot of you are listening on the weekend. And I've said this before, but I imagine you, as I said, maybe we're sitting around having coffee or going out for a walk when you're listening to this podcast. So if you're not, grab those sneakers and go. Let's go walk together. Other things I was just thinking about this week was things that I've been noticing. So I am working with a client right now, and we're really working on her noticing things. And that's a big piece of my practice of slowing down, listening to that inner voice, looking around, seeing what's around you, just really noticing those things we speed by, whether it's walking fast within the grocery store, whether it's driving fast or just really having tunnel vision to get somewhere, whether it's getting things done around the house, whatever it is. So I've been trying to do it myself. As I'm working with this client, I also am trying to do some noticing. And one thing I've done a lot lately, up until about the last month or so, was just speed through the grocery store. I'm like, just get it done. I've got to get things on my list and get back to home for whatever else comes next. And I've been trying just to look at the other customers, my neighbors, and smile at them in the store. And it's amazing. It's amazing how many people smile back or even speak, say hi or how you doing. And just from that one little thing of looking at people in the eye and smiling, you make a connection, and it's so cool. Another thing I've noticed, and we talk about, or we hear about this all the time, is when I put down a device or just stop looking at the screens. And I've noticed it when I do it with my kids too, who will fight me so hard when I'm like, just put down your phone, just turn off the TV, come talk to me. But we've been doing that a little bit more lately, like even getting in the car, I won't allow devices to be used while we're driving somewhere. And it's like breathing new life into us. It's such a huge thing to just, again, experience each other, actually talk, not staring at this 2D world on this little itty bitty screen, or maybe it's the big screen if you're watching TV. It's been so good for us we've been playing cards. We've been talking about everything and nothing. It's just amazing. The other thing I've noticed I talk about habits a lot on this podcast and within my coaching program too. And I've noticed that I reach for caffeine even when I don't quote unquote need it. So it's a habit for me. I drink that morning coffee cup or two, and then in the afternoon, I go for the energy drink. And I'm really noticing, sometimes I really don't need another cup of coffee. I'm good. I have the energy that I want from that caffeine, and I'm plugging along my day, but I just go for it anyway. Now, I haven't quite figured out why or what that's about, but I've noticed it as well in the afternoon. I'm like, I really don't need a quote unquote boost from the energy drink, but I get it anyway. So I'm just bringing these things up really because you may have things in your life, maybe you specifically, that you're like, I wonder why I do that. Or I wonder why I say that, or whatever it is. But also, if you aren't slowing down, if you're just fast paced, get to the next thing, go, 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 I would just encourage you to slow down a little bit and notice things. And that can be just within a small window of your day, or whenever you can slow down. I know that can be hard sometimes, but notice things around you. Notice the birds. You're like, oh, wow, there's birds chirping outside my window, or whatever it is. Something else I've been thinking about is seasons or life's transitions. I am certainly going through a transition period, and many of you may be as well. And it's interesting to experience that, to go through a period in life that's different, where you're going from something to something new. And, if something's affecting me, it's affecting the family too, my friends, and just experiencing this has been interesting. The emotions, it's not just that those feelings inside, but even the physical feelings, the different habits that need to be formed. So if you're going through a transition period or a season in life that's a little different, just know you're not alone, and know that it is messy, and it's okay to feel kind of like a crab out of her shell as you navigate this. What's cool about seasons or even cycles, I mentioned, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I mentioned the full moon this past week. So beautiful. I just love the moon. I feel this deep connection to it. And anytime I walk outside and I look up and I see any phase of the moon, it doesn't have to be the full moon, it takes my breath away almost every time. I'm just like, oh, there it is, the moon. And with full moons, that's supposed to signify something coming to an end, or closing out a chapter, releasing something. So that's something to think about as you're going through, if you are going through a transition in your life or a new season, of knowing that there are things in nature that are cycling all the time. We're heading into spring, and the trees are starting to have life. And I just walked around the neighborhood with Koa, my dog, and seeing these daffodils and crocuses popping up. It's so cool. Even though winter season is not that long down here in the South, it's still, we have some gray periods. So it's so cool to see life coming back. The other thing about seasons, something I've discovered really over the last 2 years, and this is going to become a practice for me, is The winter season is really a time of hibernating, spending time indoors, hunkered down, slowing down, eating foods that bring you comfort. And I've decided January going forward is going to be a time of rest for me, a time to reflect, rejuvenate from the past year, and not just jump into, okay, New Year's resolution time to set goals, time to go and achieve everything. I've done that for, what am I, 46? So I did that for 40 some years, maybe not that long, because as a kid, I probably didn't care about that stuff. But January is going to become a rest period for me. And it feels really good. This past the 2 Januaries ago, I guess that was 2023, I almost felt like I was forced into that and I didn't really want it. But then then I felt bad or guilt about not working out or not getting into my goals. But this year in 2024, I consciously decided, no, I'm going to do something different in January. And I'm so glad I did. As usual, I share these things with you really just to ponder on it. We don't have to look at societal norms or pressures or the way it's always been and just keep doing it. We can make our own path. We can do things our own way. We can paint our own picture, whatever analogy you can think of there. The final thing I thought I'd share with you is, again, this is just coming up for me as I coach clients too, is really living into your authenticity. It's so important, yet for some reason, so hard for us to be authentic. And, I'll speak for myself specifically. I tend to keep quiet in certain situations, or I tend to almost want to blend in a group setting or with new people, think what they think's funny. If they're into sports and I'm not, I'll just sort of nod and act like I know what they're talking about, whatever it is, and not show my true colors, not show what makes me me. And I don't know if you can resonate with that in whatever setting it may be. It could be work, it could be within your immediate family, extended family, with friends. We create this persona. At least I have created a persona for different settings in my life. And again, this year, 2024, I guess is just the year of changes and transitions and me wanting to be me. I decided to do something a little different at work specifically, where I was like, you know what? I've been asked to create a presentation for this meeting. And instead of doing the same old stats and numbers and trends and all the things, the kind of what I would call boring side of HR, I decided to do a little bit of personal development. I created a presentation for the meeting called Your Best Year. And you're probably going to notice as you listen to the podcast, if you keep listening, I hope you do, that I'm a big fan of acronyms. I love to look for patterns in things. But the best year acronym was something I shared in this meeting. And hopefully I can remember it as I speak right now in this microphone. B was for breathe. So consciously breathing throughout the day. E was for energy. Just finding ways to have more energy. How can we just support ourselves in that way. S was for savor. So savoring the things in our life, whether it be food, whether it be experiences, whether it be our family, just savoring those. And T was for thrive. And what I said in the presentation was, no matter what your belief system is, we weren't put on this planet to just survive, just make it to the end of the day, make it to the end of the week, just get through this thing. We were put here to thrive. So that's the BEST in best year. For Y, for year, make this the year you say yes to more things. And let me say, that doesn't mean you say yes to the things you don't want to do, or just saying yes at work or to your family because you don't want to fight or you don't want to disappoint them. Because saying no is another way to say yes to yourself. So saying no to something that doesn't align with your values, or you just don't have the capacity or time for, that you're sacrificing your own health, your well-being, your sanity. No can certainly be a yes to something else. So make this the year you say yes to more things that light you up, make you happy, align with you and your values. The E in year is for elevate. So how can you elevate something in your life, whether it be a skill, a hobby, elevate a relationship? Concentrate, pick something this year to elevate. A is for appreciate. So certainly a gratitude practice, appreciating the things that we have, appreciating the things and noticing, as I started this episode with, noticing those blessings in your life can really elevate your life and your day-to-day existence. So, create a practice, whether it be out loud or in a journal or notebook, and just write down your appreciations. And then finally, R is reflect and review. So we tend to, or at least me, I tend to go, move on to the next thing, finish that, go to the next. And I don't take moments or time to actually reflect on them. Reflect on what went well. What could I improve upon? And then also, what could I let go of? What do I not need to carry with me going forward? And I really like that last one. Is there something that when you reflect on your last week, month, last year, because even though it's the end of February, we're still in the new year. Is there something you don't want to carry forward with you? And just reflect on that. So I share all that to say, number one, I do hope you have the best year. Again, we're into February, but there's lots of year left, lots of 2024, but showing me through this presentation, being authentic, has really opened up some opportunities for me at work. I have been recognized by multiple levels of leadership in the organization. I've been asked to present that presentation. I've now done it 3 times in the last 2 months, because once someone has heard it, they want it shared with others because of the message. They really appreciate HR. So if you work for a company with HR, they really appreciated HR talking about other things. And that's what's important to me. And it obviously resonated with a lot of people. And I'm just so proud of that. So what's something that you can show, or where can you show your true self or your authentic self to others? And it doesn't have to be in a big setting, like, presenting in a meeting. It certainly can, if that's what you like to do, but it can also be with your friend group, with your spouse or partner, with your kids, find a way to start showing them you and see how good it feels. I hope you enjoyed this free-form episode. It was really fun just doing something a little different. I didn't have a script written out for me like I normally do. I just talked about some things that have been on my mind. If you loved this episode, or if you've heard any that you liked and feel like a friend or a family member would enjoy, I would so appreciate if you share it with them. You can text it, just take the link from wherever you listen to podcasts and send it over to them. You can share it on your social media if you feel so inclined. I do try to share some clips out there on Instagram and Facebook of the episode that's currently out for the week. I'm also on YouTube now. I don't have any videos up yet. I'm still trying to figure out editing videos. So I figured out editing the audio portion, but doing the video is another thing. So I haven't quite figured that out yet, but you can listen if you don't have a regular podcasting platform you listen to. YouTube is also a great place to go. And just a reminder, podcast listeners do get this awesome promotion going on right now through the end of March, where you can get 1 out of 12 sessions with me for free, your first session, if you sign up for the 90-day Total Transformation Program by the end of March 2024. This program will change your life. It has changed mine. It has changed those of my clients I've already worked with. And I would so love to just have the opportunity to talk with you for a discovery call. So check out the show notes. You will see the link for a scheduling platform, Calendly. You may have used that before. You can schedule a call with me. If you have questions, you can always message me, DM me through social networks. You can email me. I'll put my email down in the show notes. And again, I just so appreciate you all listening. I so appreciate you sharing this with your friends and family. And definitely, if you know someone who might benefit from coaching or be interested in that, please share that link as well. I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you feel free to take action toward building the life of your dreams. If something in this episode resonated with you, I would so appreciate it if you would text it to a girlfriend so she can hear the message as well. Until next time, stay wild.